Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Rooted Home podcast. We wanted to talk for a few minutes with you today about living life without screens and loving it, and what we do in our family that we've come to really enjoy and enjoy the freedom of it and the joy of it, and how hopefully some of what we do can help you, depending on what you're doing with screens in your home currently.
Yeah, because I've heard from a lot of you that screens can be a big pain point, both for the adults and for the children. And I think a lot of us are waking up to realizing that it is a life suck
Yep.
a lot of times, especially if it's a matter of addiction or just being hooked on it. So we wanted to talk about it because we want you to know that it is a delight to be free from the
Absolutely.
screen and to be able to even enjoy it, know how to enjoy it appropriately without being enslaved to it.
hmm
So,
Honestly, there's a lot of principles when we talk about screen usage and, like you just said, addiction that you can pull straight from any other thing that may have a hold of you. If you
mhm,
have alcohol, tobacco, uh, anything that anything like those things can be used and enjoyed rightly in their proper place with no hold on the Christian.
mhm,
But screens are such a new thing that I think we're still in the stages generally of maturing and learning how to handle them well
mhm.
without them having a hold on us.
Yeah,
So when cigarettes first came out, everyone was smoking in restaurants. It's the thing everybody's doing. Didn't realize how damaging it was.
mhm.
Now we know better, have a better sense of how to use some forms of tobacco without them controlling us. We needed to mature in the same way when it comes to screens to live in that freedom.
Yeah. I think a lot of people with the tobacco, people I think got stunned awake similarly to how we're being stunned awake, or
hmm
a lot of us are being stunned awake. But I do think that we are in a unique situation, kind of to what you're saying. We're maturing as a society. We're learning how to use them well. But I also think that our generation is the last generation to know what it's like to live without a screen. And so, because we, as in like the good old 90s, we weren't hooked in the same way. We played outside until dark.
Yeah, they weren't ubiquitous the way they are now.
Right. So I think that there is a hunger for it in our generation that the upcoming ones are not going to have because they've not really experienced it. And so I think
Sure.
it is like we're in a unique position to cast or recast the vision of the beauty and the joy of not being hooked on screens and being able to live life in the present and being able to enjoy what God's put in front of us, even the very slow things,
Yep.
because
The
that's normal.
the return of joy from screens is very minimal
hmm
compared to life in general.
The what?
The return that screens of joy that
Oh, right.
screens give you is very minimal compared to life as a whole,
hmm
especially when you're able to enjoy the mundane and boring parts of life with people you love, which is
hmm
hard to do if you need to be entertained all the time by a screen.
hmm Because even if you are entertained, you think you're entertained, you're actually not
No.
entertained. There's nothing that interesting that's anyway. So I guess you want to start out, we could talk about kind of our own, where we come from and with
Our
this.
backgrounds,
Yeah.
yeah. So mine is more drastic in realizing the negative effects in my own history. So, like through middle school, high school, I was very hooked on video games. Was very much an introvert, bookworm, video game enthusiast. And looking back, it's just years of wasted time that I could have been growing and maturing in any other walk of life.
Mhm.
And I just wasn't. I was very stunted, I believe, as a result of those wasted years. And to be honest, probably a lot of you who are listening know people who are like that, who are in their, who knows, early to mid 20s and haven't really figured out how to engage in the real world the way that they need to because they've not been living in the real world long enough. So I, went off to college and that started to diminish. It's been a diminishing screen usage since high school, like consistently, as different seasons of life have given me boundaries and responsibilities, and God's filled my life with good things that has taken my time, called me to maturity. Through my 20s, that's work, friendships, relationships. We get married and it becomes, marriage and a job, and then marriage and a job and kids, and the joyful return of being a responsible steward of those blessings and spending my time doing that has been a glorious thing and has been a real grace from God to me, because without those natural boundaries, like if you're hooked on something without having those like boundaries forced on you, sometimes it's really hard to pull away. And so over time, God has just blessed me with good things to where now I want my children to grow up with a right relationship to technology in general, but specifically we're talking about screens today.
Well, I think that I've just been so blessed and glad that you have embraced those things, because I think that the Lord can bring more responsibilities and more good things into people's lives, and it can be easy to not to fight against it, I guess, or to still cling on to what you want naturally in the flesh rather than embracing the things that are good. And it's just really, I think, especially with screens. Before in the 90s, it was the newspaper and TV and a beer, or whatever, and like zoning out of family. And today it's whatever, like a majority of screens and options that you can turn to instead of turning to your own family. So I've been so thankful that you've like chosen to turn towards your children, and you've chosen to turn towards me. And so anyway, I'm really glad we're kind of we are on the same page about
we are.
this at this point. So for me, it is different. I don't know why I've had this aversion to screens. Well, no, I kind of do. I've been working hard at it for a long time. And I think it's because growing up, I saw a lot of patterns, unhelpful patterns with screens before they were cool, I guess. And so the brokenness in relationship that I would see as a result just was very off-putting. And I've talked about this before. But for the last, I don't know, when did I start school? My graduate stuff, like, I don't even know.
Would have been the early 2010s.
Yeah, so where are we now? So like, I'll just say 15 years. I've been, even before we were married, I was like trying to fight against the pull because I hated the pull. And so I think in our home, because of I even tried to do without wireless in graduate school and got in trouble by my teachers because I was not responding to them quick enough. And I wasn't getting on. Sorry, guys, we're a little sick. Anyway, I was not as responsive as they wanted me to be. So, and then there's been this trying the light phone. It didn't really work for me. Trying this dumb phone. I think they're smartphones actually, but because they make you smarter. But eventually landed on the Sunbeam Pro, and it was amazing. Anyway, there were some issues with RCS messaging going through, and that's another bunny trail. But today, all that to say, it's been years of fighting this pull. And so in our home, with our histories combined, it's not our children being addicted to screens and us being addicted to screens has not been a massive issue, or ever really an issue. I don't think
No.
By the Lord's grace, we have always just enjoyed living in the present and stuff. We enjoy screens here and there, but we'll talk about that. But all that, I only say that because as somebody who has fought against the pull and even feels myself doing it today and still struggle with it, I feel great compassion and sympathy for men and women who just kind of woke up realizing that they were in the middle of just being totally sucked in.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people go into it without their guard up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how life is. Everybody's got a smartphone, and these smartphones are wired to hook you.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are suddenly realizing, I am so sucked into doom scrolling. I can't not pick up my phone. I can't, like, they're snapping at their
Can't be
children.
bored.
Yeah, I can't be bored. They don't know how to talk to people anymore. Like, you look in a waiting room and everyone's on their phone. Like,
Yep.
I think people hate it deep
Yep.
down.
And I think since smartphones especially are such a new thing, people have, or in general, the population has walked into it naively,
Yeah.
not aware of the dangers. And it's important, I think, at this point to say smartphones and screens are often wrongly thought of as tools.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, a hammer is a tool, right? It goes out and do something, and you do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't pull at you to come pick it up
Mm-hmm.
when you don't have a reason to use a hammer, right? The smartphone does that. Netflix and Disney Plus do that. Like, these companies that make screens, apps, streaming services, they are trying to hook you into their particular attention thing for as much time as they can possibly get you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because they profit.
yeah, there's not some neutral tool you pick up. It's far closer to, cigarettes, where the cigarette companies want you addicted to their product. So don't go, it can be a tool. Screens can be a tool for fun and amusement and things like that. But
And for good.
yeah, but go into it knowing you can smoke a cigarette for fun. It's totally fine. You can smoke a cigar for fun. It's like fine. But you need to know going into it what you're dealing with. And I think that as screens have become more ubiquitous everywhere in our pockets all the time, we didn't really know what we were dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good to have a sober frame of mind just on the front end. No, this is what it really is. Not a neutral tool. There's a maker behind it that has profit motives.
Yeah, and society has been kind of like what's the analogy? A frog in boiling water?
Yeah.
Okay.
Slowly turning up the heat, slowly turning up till you go to a restaurant now and you literally can't get a seat where there's not a big flat screen TV
or a
that you're
QR code
staring at.
expecting you to use that for the menu instead of a menu, which is very annoying, especially if you don't have a smartphone. But anyway, that's a soapbox I can get on. So anyway, I feel like you're about to say something else. Okay.
Made my point. I made my soapbox.
So why does it matter? I think we've kind of talked about it a lot already, but I think one thing to me that really sticks out is it totally robs us of the ability to enjoy the mundane, and that's in life. And you've got an entire generation that's, if you're not careful, will have no ability to go on a hike in the woods and just enjoy the smells and the sights and the feel of being outside, or being able to be in a room and look in someone's eyes and enjoy a conversation without their mind going a million miles a minute, or be able to read a book. Like, all of these things are crucial. These are skills that are crucial for development and for intelligence and
just living a full life.
Yeah, living a full life without regret. And I don't know. Anyway.
Well, it's just a continual. God made us to exist in the world He created and to function in that environment and flourish in that environment. And in a lot of ways, anything that you can become addicted to is just modifying your reality, right? It's voyeurism in some cases. And so whether it's stimulants or alcohol or a screen, these things can, while in of themselves, can be used in God glorifying ways, can also become ways to escape the reality that God has put us in and alter that reality in some form or fashion. We're not made to live on a continual dopamine drip of entertainment. And
we're meant to work for it.
We're meant to find satisfaction in our work and have our desire for reward fuel good work, that we do. And that's just talking about screens generally. It can get worse when you start thinking about what you're doing on that screen. So even just having a screen that's giving you a continual positive feedback loop of some kind. But then if you go down like, oh, I'm on Instagram all the time and comparing my life to other people, well, that's just going to increase your dissatisfaction even more. If that's what you're using Instagram for without realizing it. So you can start just by saying that the screen itself does this, but then it's another layer of like
spiritual.
What's on the screen that's making it even worse, or is it affecting you in an even worse way?
Yeah, that's
Possibly.
interesting. I mean, I didn't even think about that. It's very true, but you're saying that there's a physiological reason why and a spiritual. Like it taps into something physiological and spiritual. It taps into discontentment at the spiritual level, and it taps into like there's a physiological response that's happening, like the dopamine spike, dopamine spike, dopamine spike. You have to have it, and you keep expecting it. So it's.
I think that's one way to put it. Yeah, there's like a physiological response to just the screen that you want that, going forward. You want that little dopamine hit, but then you also want, furthermore, whatever it is that you're actually chasing on the screen.
Yeah. So this is kind of along the same lines, and I don't want to compare. It's not apples to apples. We talked about this earlier, so help me articulate what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
But I think before this, and along these lines, the lack of satisfaction with real life that comes from scrolling and doom scrolling and constantly on the screen getting those dopamine hits, it does remind me of the effect that pornography can have. And it is not the same thing. Pornography is always bad. Screens are not always bad. But it, like, if a man or a woman is addicted to pornography, it makes it a lot more difficult to enjoy your wife or your spouse.
Enjoy the normal things.
Enjoy the
God
normal,
has made,
the normal pace, the normal, like everything. Like it's unrealistic. And it's the same thing with the screen. It's the loop of dopamine, unrealistic. It feeds, it's just all around. I think both of those things can, again, just make you highly unsatisfied with reality.
Yeah, there's some good comparison there for sure. I think that, like you said, like pornography, always wicked evil. Not the case for screens, and we're not saying that at all.
Right.
But again, not wanting to go into using screens naively.
Yeah.
With what the effect can be.
Yeah.
And how detrimental it can be if screens and the content on the screens is used unwisely instead of very intentionally and purposefully.
And I think that's with adults and kids, a similar thing, but also if we're training our children to always need a screen because it's easier on mom and dad to just hand them a screen, it ultimately is going to make it harder on you as a parent.
Make it harder on both of you.
It's going to make it harder on the child because, the lack of satisfaction with real life.
You're setting them up poorly.
Especially the cartoons these days are faster paced. Like
very high stimulant.
Yes. They're, if you look at, what's it called? Cocomelon, compare it to Little Bear or Franklin. Little Bear and Franklin were slow. You're following a storyline. Cocomelon is like quick cut, like every 2 seconds and high stimulation. It's,
Keep them engaged. Keep them engaged.
Yes. So it's like training their brain from a young age to have that kind of stimulation. So anyway, you might get some quick relief as a parent giving your child an iPad or a screen to keep them sedated, honestly, depending on.
It's one way to put it.
That's one.
It's not
all the time, but
sometimes, yes.
Sometimes it is. But ultimately, it does make it harder because your children at that point won't know how to entertain themselves and do. So anyway,
it's far better to train your children than to placate them. It is better for you and them.
They ultimately will be much happier, and it'll be much easier on mom and dad too, because you're not. I mean, our kiddos don't they rarely tell me they're bored because they know what's going to happen. If they tell me they're bored,
They're going to get a chore.
they'll get a chore. They
go play in the yard for hours.
Yeah.
By themselves, with each other, goofing off, finding sticks and rocks. Like, because they're creative.
Yeah. So we want to give some hope because this is for everybody. Like we want to share kind of what that looks like in our home. And what we do. There are so many different ways to do things, obviously, but just to hopefully inspire and to give some hope that it's possible for anyone, even if screens have been a major addiction. Because we might not have had that as a big issue in our home, but but
it was for me when I was younger.
Right. And then
now we're here.
And there are studies that have shown that the brain can be retrained. Yeah. Your attention span can be retrained. Your brain is
plastic.
Especially children. They're so they're so malleable and adaptable. So
it might be a hard hump at first.
Yeah.
Like you can think of it as, detoxing off nicotine. It's hard at first. Or sugar. Anything that you've been, mastered by in a sense without realizing it, when you try and put that aside, as Hebrews 12 says, no discipline is enjoyable at the time, but painful. But afterwards, it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness to those who've been trained by it. And that is a promise for anyone who's had their eyes open to see, I am mastered by this thing, and I ought not be mastered by anything. There is plenty of hope that will start to change if you want to pick up your pack and get to it.
Yeah. Just got to set your eye on the prize and go for it. Rip the Band-Aid and keep your eye on the prize. Try to paint inspire your children. Show it. You said something earlier that I actually think is important to note. Like you said, when the Lord brings good things, you chose to embrace those things. I think that is a very important principle. If you take away a screen or you take away this way of doing things, fill it with a good thing.
Yeah. Or push out the screens with a good thing. Yeah. Don't just deprive them. Take them to the zoo.
Yeah.
Like, do something.
Go to the park.
With them. Go to the park. Go to the splash pad. Like, go get them, like, engaging in outside non-screen things.
Get some chalk.
When they normally would be looking at screens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Replace it with some good things.
And at first it will take more hands-on for parents. But eventually, as they grow in their own skills to play, because it is a skill, and capabilities and interest, once they gain, over time, they will gain more interest. So we have a family friend who their child is autistic, and he was in lots of different therapies for a long time, and he's doing fantastic now. You wouldn't even be able to tell that he's autistic at all. But because of how they did things and how they were taught to do things, their boys became very, very, very dependent on mom and dad to be entertaining them all the time. Like, they would not be able to go away from their side without throwing a fit. And it was very, very difficult. And they were taught by these therapists to basically, I don't even remember, I don't know if I could articulate everything that, it was very
you know more details than me.
Well, it was very child-centered. It was like very psychology. I don't know. Rather
modern psychology.
Yeah. So it was very child-centric. It was not. So when they turned away from all of that, they just basically started believing God's word about his way of training your children and raising them up. And I don't remember all the details, but basically she told me that a woman at her church was like, well, do you believe God or not? Like, this applies to your son too. And so they started applying certain biblical principles and stopped really getting sucked into the psychology principles. Their boys are totally different now.
Oh, they're crazy mature for their age.
Yes, they're awesome. They are doing so well. We've seen the progression. And those boys go out for hours and play outside. They do not have, I mean, there's still things that they're working through or whatever in that regard, but they have gone leaps and bounds, no longer clinging to mom's leg, no longer needing to be entertained. Like, so it is possible. It does take intentionality. And that is a different situation than screens, but it's a similar principle, I think, of children can be taught. They had to teach their boys capabilities and skills and show them what they can do and encourage them and kind of push them out of the nest a little bit. And now they're much happier. The boys are happier.
I think the example you just gave is a far harder challenge than most parents probably face at this point, to be honest.
With
like
screens, you mean?
Yeah, just with screens.
Yeah.
It's like,
this was a very long process.
Just start making some daily changes. Like your family's going to change pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know,
especially mom and dad are taking the lead.
Yeah. It's not going to be Armageddon or anything in your home. You just start making some changes and the kids will follow quickly.
Yeah. That's good. So, what are some things that how are we doing that? How do we do it, babe? I'm trying to look at my notes, but it's chicken scratch.
Yeah.
My 2-year-old scribbled on my notes.
Good for him. Well, you didn't give him a screen. He needed to do something.
Yeah.
So things that are important to us, for some people, and in some cases, just being a teetotaler is easier, and that's fine. Like there's a whole, movement right now of like being completely screen free, like no TVs in the home. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
If that's what's easiest for you to not have any temptation at all, like go for it.
Yeah.
We don't do that. And even if you're doing that, you're not saying that screens are evil. You're just recognizing, hey, this is what's easiest and best for us.
And it could be for a time.
And it could be for a season. You bring it back later. So go for it.
That's what I did with the smartphone.
You just wanted it gone. So you did. What we do is we don't, like you said, we don't have that problem in our home right now to where we need to just go cold turkey. We do want to train our children. So for me, it's very important for my children, like it is with many things, for them to learn how to use something rightly and see a healthy relationship with it before they leave our home. So I like having a TV that we use very sparingly. We have a Nintendo Switch that we use very sparingly. The kids might get to play on it every other weekend for an hour or two, depending on the weather that's outside. What?
You said an hour or two, but anyway, keep going.
So it's pretty minimal, and it gives us the opportunity to show them, we're going to do this, and then we're going to put it down.
And it's always as a family. So
it's always as a family.
Something like that. It's
not in one of the kids' rooms or anything like that.
Yeah, we're not sending them off to go play while we go do something else.
Yeah.
Where it's a family endeavor. So if it's playing Zelda or whatever, I don't know how to play that. I just read a book, but or watch a movie together. We'll occasionally do that together as a family. It's not.
And it's a good chance. There have been times where we've been able to monitor the children's attitudes, because a movie has a natural ending point. Everyone's done. Video games can just go indefinitely. So when dad says, okay, we're going to be done now, if there's bad attitudes, that's going away for a while, so it's teaching them how to pick it up and then put it down and not keep thinking about it and obsessing about it. So that's important to me, along with, teaching them about other things, how to use them well in the home. Screens are one of those things that I want the kids exposed, shown a healthy, non-addictive relationship to, so that they can just see that that's normal. That there's like a screen and we watch it on the weekends sometimes, and that's about it.
Yeah. And
that's normal life. As opposed to thinking normal life is TV every evening.
Yeah. Or even every weekend. We don't do it every weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say one thing that we did do every weekend was the highlights thing. So we have a couple boys who are
they love sports,
obsessed with sports. They just really like it. You don't have to teach them to like it; they just do. And so, yeah, one of our sons kept asking to watch the highlights of a game or something, and so
I introduced him to those because I didn't want us sitting watching a 3.5 hour football game every weekend.
Yeah.
It's not what I want to spend my time doing. I enjoy watching football, like a game when it's football season. We'll do it with friends sometimes, but so we got into, hey, the game's not until 7:30, buddy. You're not going to stay up and watch it. You can watch the 15-minute highlights, tomorrow. And he really looks forward to that.
Yeah.
So
he's not allowed to ask until it's
nope,
Saturday.
because he asked every single day. So again, we had to put boundaries on it. Like if you ask during the week, you're going to lose the privilege.
Yeah.
You may ask when the weekend comes to watch one highlight.
Yeah. So it does teach self-control. It is a way to teach self-control, which there are many ways in parenting to teach self-control.
Oh, yeah.
But
the opportunities are boundless.
Oh, they are. Yes. So anyway, what are some other things that we do very practically? That's an example of us not being completely screen free and being able to enjoy it as a family in moderation. But what do we do the rest of the week or the rest of the time? Well, I mean, we have very full days and we're never really twiddling our thumbs. So, but some things that will kind of try to fill the space or what we have to fill the space is we have books in every room. So the kids love to go to the library. It's always such a treat. It's like Christmas. Whenever we come home with new books, they all pile in the living room and are looking at books for like an hour, just looking at the new books that we get. And those are endless. So anyway, every room has a basket of books. I got that idea, I think, actually from Sally Clarkson. And then, yeah, lots of outside time. What are some other things? I mean, they just have great imaginations. They'll go out in the woods and go play. They build little cabins. We don't have to tell them we don't entertain them. We'll play games together as a family. And they'll go play. They've got dress up. Basically, whatever toys we have or anything that we have like that are meant to fuel their imagination. So dress up, building.
So Legos, Lincoln Logs, magnets, trains, wooden blocks.
Yeah, Duplos for the littles.
Yeah.
A lot of books, which I already said that. But a general rule that I like to have is I don't like to have anything battery powered.
I don't either.
I had a weak moment recently, like a year ago, where I got that thing from the thrift store because the little
baby was like, oh,
it made him so happy. I was like, okay. Anyway, it was one of the little things where you press the button and the little animal pops up. There's like 4 of them. Anyway, I just recently tossed it because I couldn't handle it anymore. But all that to say, usually I try to stay away from batteries because it drives me crazy. But then also I think the lack of that extra stimulus.
It's just made to stimulate. So it's got, here's some lights. I'm going to push this button. Lights are going to go off. Like it's not growing their little brains at all.
Yeah.
It's just keeping them engaged.
It really helps nobody.
Yeah.
So, and when you've got a house full of kids, it's like, it's already loud enough. I don't need any of that extra noise personally. But anyway, books, audiobooks. Were you about to say something?
One thing I was going to say is when you don't have those just natural, I'm going to go to this when I'm bored. I'm seeing the seeds of how much our children are going to mature and develop and learn things that I didn't at their age because of the screens that I had. So for instance, the other day, they all worked together to do a quote unquote concert for us. One of our girls learned a song on the piano. Another one of our boys is trying to learn how to shake the maracas to the beat. And our other boy is hitting the tambourine, nowhere close to a beat. But like, eventually they're going to be learning how to do that. Like that's the seeds of a family band, because they're not just engaged like, I just go to the screen whenever I want to. When you have just the space for boredom and creativity, it's exciting to see what's going to come out of that space in your family over the years. Like, what are the kids going to choose to like do with that time? You start to see what their skills are, what they're drawn to, what their aptitudes are, what they enjoy. And that's very beneficial knowledge. And
because you want to be able to keep cultivating that and drawing it out, but how do you know if it's always suppressed?
Yeah. Like, I'm fine. I'm entertained like this. I don't need to, Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that if they're always consuming, they're not going to produce. They're not going to create. And so we want our children to be creators. We want them
builders,
contributors to society, And I think that just letting the imagination flow and giving them fodder for that, like books and things to fuel their imagination. I mean, really, our kids honestly hardly ever play with the toys. They love dress up, but
Mm-hmm.
they're reading and they're outside a lot.
Dress
So
up for the boys involves like
swords.
knight outfits and swords and stuff, just to clarify.
Yeah, and a ninja
Ninja
outfit.
outfit, yeah.
Yeah, girls have princesses and Little House on the Prairie type stuff that
Mm-hmm.
they've got collected over time. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else that we're missing? I feel like
I don't think
we
so. I
covered a
think
lot of
that,
it.
in general, just the vision for how glorious life is the way God made it,
Mm,
apart from any sort of voyeurism. Like
mm,
someone who can put aside, and we're all mastered in some ways by some things, and we're not aware of it. But
yeah.
when God opens our eyes to see it, it's because He is leading you as His child out of it, and there's going to be wonderful hope and freedom and joy on the other side
Mm,
of that challenge of having to let something go, if that's where you're at.
mm,
Um, but just to encourage in general, like this is a glorious, bountiful world that God has put us in that is filled with things for us to find and take enjoyment in. And it's kind of like C.S. Lewis's quote of being content with mud pies in the
mm.
slums when we feel the need to escape the world God's given us. I'm not saying that some people's lives aren't very hard and that you can understand the temptation for them to want to do that, but um, voyeurism is not the answer, even in a hard life. It's to look to God and see what fruit He's going to make, even out of a hard situation, making beauty out of ashes. And that's
Yeah.
a glorious promise.
And even for people who have a hard life or who are going through difficult seasons, because everybody has hard things happen in their life at different points. If you can learn to even cultivate, like letting there be creative outlets for those, because a lot of times, like poetry, art, like some of the great artists out there had really difficult things. It is a form of escape. It's not escapism. It's an it's a
It's an outlet.
It's an outlet. It's a way to enjoy something, creating something, even if it's fueled by sadness or, I don't know, different emotions that are hard. Like you're creating something, you're doing something with that can be God glorifying.
Mm-hmm.
And not letting the addictions of and the life suck of a screen contribute to the hard. Because honestly, I think
You're just numbing.
turning
It's
to addiction always makes it harder,
yeah, it's
whether it's a screen or
it's numbing
yeah.
the pain instead of going through therapy.
Mm,
Therapy's painful. Like
mm,
physical therapy, if you hadn't ever had an injury before,
mm,
like that process of strengthening your tired and broken limb
mm,
is it's a painful process, but it's worse to just shoot it up with morphine
mm,
indefinitely. So
mm.
if you can follow that analogy,
You don't get better.
you don't get
If you
better.
go through the pain and you choose to face it, you become better for it in
Hmm.
the Lord. Like especially if you're looking to the Lord in the midst of it versus numbing out, whether that's through a screen, through alcohol, through whatever, you're delaying the inevitable. Like you're not facing something that you have to face, And anyway, so
Yep.
painting a vision for productive even ways of grieving or having a hard time is there are ways to do that. I don't know, or I think that's kind of a bunny trail,
A
but
little bit of a bunny trail.
that's okay though.
All that to say, the life God has given us and the world He's given us is beautiful. We don't need
To
to
create.
fill it up with other things that are cheap imitations of the beauty
Yeah.
that God's made for us. So, marriage, family, worthwhile vocation, work, tending to your home, like spending time with friends and family,
Mm-hmm.
such rich things that are
Mm-hmm.
just right there for us to grasp. So, grasp those, not a phone.
Yeah.
We'll end on that note.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it. Let us know what you think. We always love hearing from you. Like Lauren said earlier, this episode was inspired by hearing a lot of things, feedback from people. So we love to speak to things that would be a blessing to you guys. So feel free to email us, leave a comment, like and subscribe, all that stuff. We look forward to talking to you guys again.
Bye, guys.